Well, I told you I'd make this video and it was about time. I plan on making this actually my first video, but I never really got a chance to do it, and every time I record it, I always delete it because I wouldn't make sense or something else. But this time for sure, I'm gonna release it. Alright, this is the Gamer Girls controversy. Now, listen, I do want to say that I am a fan of women playing video games. I think it's really cool and it shows that, guys aren't the only ones who do this kind of thing. It's not like football, and it actually does show that there is diversity in video games. I just wish more girls would play it so that way it wouldn't be so odd when the girl on Xbox Live goes, "Well, I'm a girl," and everybody goes, "Oh, really, really?" And they start saying all this weird stuff, and she's just loving it. But I'm rambling, so let's get started with the video. A couple questions arose when I was making this video. One, where did gamer girls come from? Two, what made them want to play video games? And three, how do you get your girl to play video games? Okay, first I'm going to start off with my first question. Obviously. Come on, you know me. Alright, back in the day when arcades were the place to be, home consoles were just starting to make it in the mainstream. We had a little thing we like to call the odd girl out, or the girl who would tag along with her older brothers to the arcades. She would be told to sit here, sit there, give her a couple of tokens so she can play whack-a-mole or something, while you go chill with your friends and play all the games you wanted. Because back in those days, girls playing video games wasn't actually the norm. A lot of girls thought that video games was a guy thing. They didn't understand it, and a lot of girls persecuted guys for it, which came up with the term nerd or geek, while secretly they fawned and wanted so badly to join in on the games, but they couldn't, and, well, it wasn't the girly thing to do. The girly thing to do would be to play Barbies and, go out and gossip and have sleepovers, but what they didn't realize is video games was a crucial part of that as well. And some girls even actually did play video games back in those days. But if you did see a girl, it'd be more odd than you would now, because of the fact that now girls even have their own tournaments in video games. That's how big it is. But we're getting a little too ahead of ourselves. If anybody's ever seen the movie The Wizard, which is probably one of my favorite movies, because of the fact I didn't always know what the title was. I saw it once on cable, and I was addicted to it. I watched the entire movie without even knowing what it was. And then for 2 years, I was searching just to find the title of that movie. Well, that doesn't have anything to do with girl gamers, but the movie actually does have a girl gamer in it, though not attractive at all. She was kind of an oddball out, seeing as how she was actually a girl. Even though she gets third in the tournament at the end of the movie, spoiler alert, she does end up actually showing that girls do play video games. Now, back when PlayStation comes out, girls kind of hid back in their shells. No girl was really seen playing PlayStation. I mean, come on. That wasn't really their thing. They'd mostly play the Sega, they'd mostly play the Nintendo 64 or Sega Genesis CDI. Well, nobody played that. But it was okay. I mean, girls started getting into video games because they would have girly games like Barbie and stuff. Now you might be wondering, how did girls actually start playing video games? Well, again, girls have been playing video games for as long as guys have, just in lesser numbers. It wasn't really known, but again, in The Wizard, they did have a girl gamer. But the thing that brought a lot of girls in was the release of Dance Dance Revolution, an arcade game that really brought people of all ages and sizes in. Since you were playing on a dance mat, it kind of felt more like a dance game than an actual video game. Girls actually thought that it was good because you can get exercise and sweat off of it, and it wasn't just you sitting around a controller with your friends all day. Girls actually got a kick out of it, and that's actually what sparked the idea for the Wii. Another game I have to thank is Katamari Damacy, because of the fact that it isn't really hard to play, And when girls were done playing, DDR and wanted to see what other games were out there, Katamari Damacy was the perfect thing to play. I mean, I saw my cousin's girlfriend play that once, and it was like watching a lion stand on its hind legs. That's how weird it was. But I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. Um, then a game called Guitar Hero comes out, which is kind of like DDR for your hands. And a total babe magnet, seeing as how you can look like a rocker. And girls also have the fantasy of one day rocking out with their boyfriend slash significant others in a stage where they feel like they're king. And that game really doesn't have to have any skill. You just have to have good hand-eye coordination. So they really felt like they were doing something while they were pretty much just clicking a button. Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this part is what about the hardcore gamers? Now you guys might be wondering, well, I know there are a couple of hardcore gamers out before all those games. There were, but as far as I can tell, not really hard to find. Seeing as how girls would say that they play video games back in the day, but they really don't. And some of them actually did, but it's so many lies out there from the female community because if a girl does like you, they'll say whatever to get with you. And that's words to live by. But anyway, that's pretty much it actually. Girls how they get introduced to video games. Um okay, back in another one of my videos, I actually said that there are no girl gamers. Now, nobody's commented on it yet because I don't really have that many fans, but the ones that do, thank you. Um, but I will say this. Girls in video games, well, let's just say that if you are a hardcore gamer and you would rather play a game than go out to a movie, or you'd spend about $50 to try out a new game that you know you'll love instead of buying a new pair of earrings or something, you're not a girl gamer. You're a gamer, right? Because gamer is plural, right? It doesn't mean guy. It's like us saying guy gamer, right? It's kind of self-explanatory. But don't call yourself girl gamers because that's not what you are. You're just gamers like everybody else. Another thing is people who are girl gamers are actually phonies, alright? Big time phony balonies, alright? Because I know girls that will say, oh, I'm a gamer, I play video games, I do this, I do that, I know what you're talking about, and they'll look you straight in the face with a serious look, and they won't know anything of what you're saying. Alright, I've had girls come up to me and my friends and say, oh yeah, well, I play video games. And then we start talking a little bit and figure out she doesn't even know what what the sticks on the buttons do. Alright, what the sticks on the controllers do. Now, that personally doesn't make sense to me. If you're gonna lie to somebody, at least come in there with a strong lie. Something that you know a little about. I mean, don't start it off on the controller. I mean, come on. If we're talking about a controller, keep your mouth shut. Alright? Now, the last thing I want to talk about in this part is ways we can make girls actually a good part of Xbox Live. Because not a lot of girls talk on Xbox Live, seeing as how they'd be persecuted for being a girl. And that's not cool. I mean, it's kind of sexist, actually. I think that Xbox should take more of an initiative, but we should also really worry about that because of the fact that if my sister's playing Xbox, I don't want people making fun of her because she's online, and she's holding a controller. It's America. I mean, it's the freedom of speech, freedom of expression. I mean, if we didn't have that, then that means all guys can play video games while girls are in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and doing the laundry. I mean, come on. The world has changed so much. We even have a black president. Can a girl play a game? Get ready for part 2.